Is the leaked Labour manifesto an attempt to drag Britain back to the nightmare that was the 70s?
Emily Thornberry.
I think that this manifesto is one which is about the transformation of Britain. It's about the 21st century. It's not looking backwards. It's actually looking at what options do we want? We have a choice now with this general election. We can be a better country. We can be a country where we don't need to have nurses going to food banks anymore, where we have a national health service that has sufficient funds, where elderly women have a visitor in the morning from social care that will get them up, at breakfast time instead of having to wait until lunchtime. We will have young people who won't necessarily be saddled with debt because they've been to university. We will have chances for young people to be able to move out of their homes and to be able to move into their own homes instead. We will have a world where if you get a job in the city, you're not afraid of having to pay all that money that you're having to pay at the moment to private train companies, frankly quite often owned by other countries, and we will have a train service which is owned by Britain instead. There is a choice, there is another way, and the question is, in this election, do we want to do that, or do we want to carry on with a tired old Tory party that has run out of ideas completely? What we do, we're a democratic party. We're not like Theresa May, who'll go into a locked room with some friends and draft the manifesto up themselves and not talk to anybody.
I don't want to compare manifestos. I'm just trying to check the veracity.
And all I'm saying is that we're a democratic party, and obviously in those circumstances, when you consult a lot of people, you might get somebody who, for whatever reason, thinks that it's somehow clever to draft some sort of to leak some sort of early draft unnecessarily. The manifesto will be launched. I'm not saying it's 100 miles away from the manifesto that you will see. There's been lots of kind of quite wild allegations made. And what I would say is that the last general election, what we said to the Conservatives, because they kind of said the same thing then, before they adopted a lot of our policies, was they said, it isn't affordable and everything else.
Oh, so
and
they've adopted your policies?
Well, they've adopted
crypto-Labour, are they?
Well, sometimes, if you look at the energy one, and then you look at and you compare it with what Ed Miliband was saying, you think, well, what's the difference
here? So you don't have a problem with the Tories?
Oh, no, we've gone further than the previous manifesto in relation to energy, because what we're saying now is we're saying, actually, we won't cap it. What we'll do is we'll set up an alternative energy company in each region, and that will be able to challenge these private companies. But let me just come back to this point, because it's what I want to say. So what we said at the last general election was we said, you're saying that we can't afford it. There's this organisation called the Office of Budget Responsibility. They're independent, and what we want you to do is you want you to give them your manifesto and our manifesto, and they're independent and they can see whose sums add up. And do you know what? The Tories said no. And so this time round, we've said, I'll tell you what, this time you're going to say the same, we're going to make the same ridiculous allegations. Let us give you our manifesto and the Tory manifesto. Let the Office of Budget Responsibility look at it and see whose sums make up. Now, the question, Ben, is why won't you let us do that? Because you're just going to carry on saying these things. We want an independent body to look at our manifesto and your manifesto and look at the sums.
But Emily,
why are you saying no?
Emily,
well,
Emily, just